Philip Wallace was the superintendent of Jamestown City School District, a large urban system in a northeastern state. Jamestown had many of the problems associated with large cities, but it also had a stable, middle-class population of both white and minority parents, a high level of community support for schools, and an excellent stream of revenue from the many banks, insurance companies, and other financial institutions that made their home in Jamestown. The trouble for Dr. Wallace began when John Rayner's family moved across town during the summer before John's senior year. John had attended West High School, and as a consequence of his move, had transferred to East High. He was black, an extraordinarily gifted student with a straight A record since junior high, preliminary scholastic aptitude scores over 750 in both verbal and math, a lettered athlete in 3 sports, and the president of his class. He was a shoo-in for any Ivy League school that he cared to attend, and he had set his heart on Yale, where he had intended to major in physics. On the opening day of school, he had met with his advisor to pick up his schedule. It was then that he discovered that he had been placed in Physics E rather than Honors Physics, the course he would have taken had he remained in West High School. He was unfamiliar with this way of labeling courses, and so had inquired of his advisor what it meant.
Hi, my name's John. Since I'm new here, I was looking through the course catalog and noticed you offered Physics and Physics E. I was wondering what the difference is in between the 2 courses.
The E stands for enrichment. It's a new program we are trying out this year.
Is it similar to an honors course?
Yes, it uses an enriched curriculum to advance all students.
Oh, okay. Sign me up for that.
Okay.
John was satisfied with this explanation, and the first week or 2 of school went smoothly. Indeed, he was pleased with the obvious attention Mrs. Kramer, his physics teacher, paid to ensuring that he was given challenging material to read, additional experiments to carry out, and access to the laboratory during his free time to work on his own. John also noticed that there were 3 other students in the class who were receiving similar attention. It was the rest of the students in the course and Mrs. Kramer's regular lessons that bothered him. The students were all bright and motivated, but they were obviously not in John's intellectual league. This didn't bother him particularly, since first grade he had always been at the top of his class. He was used to that, and he didn't have an inflated ego because of his academic talents. However, they certainly weren't honors students. Of more concern was Mrs. Kramer's teaching, the textbooks, and the other curricular materials. These were geared to the level of the majority of the class, and hence John often found himself waiting while the rest of the class wrestled with the concept that he had grasped immediately. Since John had been told the course would be like an honors level class, this surprised him. Physics E certainly wasn't like the honors biology and chemistry courses that he'd taken at West High. After 2 weeks, John described his physics course to his parents.
Hey Dad, I wanted to talk to you about my physics class I've been taking. I don't think it's actually an honors class. I feel like I'm always waiting for everyone else to catch up, and it's nothing like the honors class I've taken at the West High School.
Of course there's an honors course at East High. It's board policy that there be such courses in every major subject at all high schools. There's something fishy here. I'm going to check with the principal.
My advisor said it was the same as honors courses.
Well, clearly it is not. I will make an appointment with Dr. Selinsky.
While he didn't say it to John, he suspected that what was fishy was simple racism. John was being barred from an honors course because of his race. Fred made an appointment with Dr. Susan Selinsky, East principal. It turned out that John was correct. There was no honors physics at East. Nevertheless, race was certainly involved in the matter.
Hello, Dr. Selinsky. My name is Fred Rayner. My son, John, is a new student at East High this year. He is taking Physics E, which is not challenging him enough. I wanted to meet with you today and get some answers regarding why your school does not have any honors version of this physics.
In the past, we have had honors courses for physics, but we did not feel they were accessible to all students, and that they may have been racially discriminatory. Our school is made up of 34% minority, and they represented just 2% of the total honors program. Students were admitted to an honors course on the basis of grades, test scores, and their teachers' recommendations. However, even relaxing these requirements would do little to change their racial composition. The faculty decided, unless the course was radically expanded in size. That, however, would also make impossible the highly individualized instruction and project orientation of the honors classes. Further, operating the honors program resulted in pulling out all of the most gifted students from the department's regular offerings. The teachers found this result highly undesirable. They all agreed that the regular biology, chemistry, and physics courses were much better when they contained the gifted students. So, with my approval, the department decided to end its honors courses, fold all the gifted students back into its regular classes, and develop an extensive series of enrichment activities for those who would ordinarily be enrolled in the honors program. This way, everyone benefits.
But I thought the Board of Education policy was to offer honors courses in major subjects like science in every high school.
Well, technically that's true, but our enriched program serves the same purpose and falls well within the board policy.
Did the board approve your interpretation of this policy?
Well, not specifically. However, it is clearly within our right to make this interpretation. Jamestown has adopted a site-based management that gives individual schools considerable latitude in making their own decisions regarding curriculum.
Let me see if I understand this right. The Board of Education, which represents the people of Jamestown, makes policies that govern the schools. Presumably, these policies represent the will of Jamestown's residents. One such policy was to have every high school offer honors courses in all major academic subjects. Then they made a policy that says that decision should be made as closely as possible to the level at which those decisions are carried out, what you called site-based management. Now you claim that the second policy gives your faculty the right to ignore any of the policies that the board itself makes. That is, policies that represent the wishes of the community. And all of this comes down to depriving my son of the kind of courses that he could be entitled to at every other high school in town, and the kind of courses, honors courses, that any college administrators committee will recognize. Is this decision correct?
Well, yes, but you miss.
I'm going to make an appointment with the superintendent.
At the meeting with Dr. Wallace, Fred brought up his complaint about East site-based management.
Are you aware of how East High manages their classes?
East High uses a site-based management that allows the school to determine how the types of classes are run, not if they're allowed to have them or not.
What do you mean by how they're run?
Well, that means that while East must have a standard of an honors section of their major subjects, they can choose how they structure the classes. So, for example, East could decide to make their honors biology an independent study type course. The class still has to meet state standards and it has to be offered exclusively to qualifying students, but East is not bound to offer a traditional class structure for their courses, so long as they meet the state's standards and comply with the district's policy on academic levels.
So let me see if I understand. East High still has to offer an honors and a regular course for its subjects, but they can decide how the classes are taught.
Yes. Why? Is there a problem?
My son attends East High, and we were upset to find out that they do not offer an honors course for physics.
Dr. Solinsky may have understood the board's policy. Let's speak with her tomorrow and get this straightened out.
The next day, Fred and Dr. Wallace spoke with East administration, and Dr. Wallace explained the situation. While they cleared up the misunderstanding, there was still the issue of what to do with John's education.
Unfortunately, since the semester has already begun and the classes are set, we can't simply create an honors course right now. Let me call in the physics teacher and see if they have any suggestions regarding your son.
My lab is empty during the class period. Perhaps they can go in there during the hour, and the chemistry teacher, whose prep is in that hour, can sit in and supervise. They will study the same materials in my class, but they will do it at a pace which suits them, and I will create an explanation for where they should be at the end of the year or semester.
It may be more of an independent study type course, as we may not be able to order proper honors physics books in the middle of the year, but the course will be sure to meet accelerated standards and give us a baseline for how to proceed with accelerated courses next year.
While it was not exactly what Fred expected, he accepted and decided to talk to John, who seemed happier with an independent study than his current Physics E course. We felt that this situation was extremely unfair to John and the students in a similar situation as him. The board policy was explicit in saying that all schools must provide an honors program for all of the major subjects, including science. Since West High did not do so, they did not provide John with the opportunities he could have received from other schools in the same district. We understand that the school had the best intentions in creating the enriched classes, however, it was poorly executed. We think that the current system is a good beginning to improving the gap between the minority groups within the school. However, the school should also add an honors class as well to provide higher education to students who need it. The enriched class could be a nice middle ground between the regular class and the honors class to give students who are unsure how they would do in an honors class a chance to try it out before signing up. All in all, John had a right to be upset about the absence of an honors course, but the school did have the best intentions in creating the new system. But every new system has room for improvement.